Oh, hold on. Intro. Look at that. Okay, well, welcome back to tutorial number 2 with Bradley. I'm your host, Bradley, and this intro is like a minute long, but it seems overkill to play it. Okay, so this is going to be me actually editing, showing you what I do to edit a short, and all the different steps involved. You might notice some background noise. That's because Brandon is here sweeping. We are at the new barn building. And so, floors are dirty. Okay, so let's get started. I'm hoping it should show where I'm clicking. It doesn't on my screen, but hopefully in the recording it does. Okay, so I just opened the last project that we did in the last tutorial 1. We have our arrow icon, we have our video, does God have a body, and all that. This is actually probably not a great example video, so I'm going to delete that from our project. Note, if you delete from the project, it won't delete from your computer. It just takes it out of Premiere. I'm going to import a video that's going to be a little bit easier. So I'm going to go Documents, and then Render Folder, and we're going to pick a new video we did, new podcast episode on Romans 6 through 8. And if I play, you should be able to hear. Look at that.
In other words,
who is that?
Live in accordance
handsome
with this
dude.
nature.
Okay. So I have right down here my Bradley's the coolest V3. Though, honestly, that's all wrong. It shouldn't be Bradley's the coolest V3. It should be Bradley's the coolest V4 because this is the next video. So we're upgrading that. I'm going to go ahead and double-click my Romans 6 to 8. And the reason I'm doing that is because I'm going to set an in and out point. You'll notice if I drag this down here, I'm keeping existing settings, and I watch, this is an hour long, and it's going to be really hard to kind of find what I want. So what I like doing instead, hit delete there. What I like doing is double-clicking to open this up in my source monitor. When I go through here, I'm going to find a clip that I like. I'm not really going to worry about it.
That is a declaration of righteousness.
I'm going to hit I. Also, you can make this bigger by hitting tilde. It'll full screen any section of the screen you want. Tilde. I hit I, and you'll notice it sets an in point. Let's go later, and we're going to hit O to set an out point. What that does is if I just click anywhere on this and drag down, it will only drag that section between the I and the O into my sequence. So that's really good for picking out sections of the entire video I want instead of having to go through and chop it up. But, you can do that too if you would prefer. I'm going to keep existing settings, and we're just going to zoom in. You can zoom in by hitting Z and, clicking and dragging, or just clicking by holding Option, or I think it's probably Alt on Windows. You can zoom out. There's also the zoom right there. I have a trackpad, so if I pinch outward, it zooms in, and inward, it zooms out. So that's what I'm doing when I zoom. I'm going to drag this to the beginning, and we're just going to pretend like I have found a section I really like, even though I have no idea what I say here. So first thing I'm going to do is save. And now what I'm going to do is you'll notice this is not the right size. So first things first, I'm going to scale this up to where it fills out the screen so I don't have black bars. Okay, my minimum zoom is 178%. Now, that's going to lower the quality quite a bit, unless you're working with 4K video. This is rendered 1080, so it's going to lose quality, but it's a short on Instagram. I don't really care. If I wanted it to be nicer, I could run it through an AI upscaler, but I'm not going to. So then I'm going to go over here to position and just scroll over so that I am center frame. There's a button right here called Title Safe that sometimes will give you good measurements. You don't really want things, outside of that box because it could get cut off. But anyways, if that's not in there, if you hit this plus button right there, you should see it somewhere in there, and then you just click and drag to put it in this hotkeys right here. Anyways, so once that's there, I'm going to zoom in, and I'm going to play through.
For all men, for those who believe in him.
Okay.
Verse 19.
Now for shorts, part of the principle of what you're doing with shorts is you're trying to get down to the most essential components of what you're talking about, and you don't really want gaps or spaces because people will swipe off and lose interest. It's just the nature of shorts. It's annoying, but that's what it is. So what I do is every time I see a space right there, I have my waveform. I can actually make this bigger if I want. Every time I have a space, I hit C, and I cut. Another space, cut. Another space, cut, 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 cut. Oh, big space. This time I'm going to hit cut and cut between that because I'm actually going to want to, if I click on that, I can hit delete and get rid of that. Just to show you what I do there. If I have a gap like this, if you right click, you can hit ripple delete and it'll pull everything to the right of that over and close the gap. Additionally, I can use this tool. It's the track select forward, and anything in front of my cursor, it will move so you won't overwrite files. If just to show, if I just use my regular tool and I moved this over, I would actually overwrite the following file or a section, whereas if I use this, it will move everything that direction. So sometimes I'll hit A and then pull this back and close the gap that way, depending on how my fingers are feeling. Anyways, so, you know, I get loud there, so we'll cut there, we'll cut there, we'll cut there, and there, and there. And, oh, that's a whole big section of silence. We don't need that. Delete, ripple delete, so on and so forth. We'll just do 15 seconds just so you get the idea. So now when you watch,
for all men, for those who believe in him. Verse
nothing
19,
happens because I haven't changed
talks
these
about
files from one
positional
another. You
legal
wouldn't even know I've done that cutting. What I do next is I actually will stagger these. I'll usually listen to hear what I say on like main points, intense points. I'll usually put this up 2 steps instead of 1. Anyways, I just stratify all of these like this. We'll just say I do that. Then I'm going to come in, and my baseline track is going to be the widest shot. On my second track, V2, also if you need more video tracks, you can either right-click and hit Add Tracks, or you can just drag this up, and it'll make more, whichever you prefer. On this next highest track, I'm actually going to zoom in, we'll say to 213%, and then I'm going to kind of adjust me, and let's just, for sake of getting this in, we'll say I do this next one, I want to zoom in even more. Well, I went 213% on the prior clip, so for this clip, I need to go higher than that. We're going to go really far. We're going to go to, not 2509. That is indeed far. No, I was thinking 250%. 2,500%. That, talk about zoomed in. Okay, so if you watch this now.
Men, for those who believe in him. Verse 19.
Cuts in.
Then no longer
cuts in again.
Positional legal
cuts out. Now, I've only done that for the first 3 clips. What I do is I'm going to go here, hit motion, and then I hit Control-C or Command-C, depending on Windows or Mac, or I can even just right-click and hit copy. And then I'm going to start on the second track, and I'm going to actually select every file on that second track, and hit Control-V or Command-V to paste. And now you'll notice everything on this track holds the same zoom. And I'm going to do the same for the third track. Motion, Control-C, Control-V. And now, no matter where I am in the video,
works. Verse 19 says, for as by the one man's disobedience.
That is terrible, but you get the idea. And then save, because you always want to save. So there you go. I have now established a general push and pull out kind of thing. And maybe that's all you want for the video. Kind of depends. Recently, I've been doing pictures, zoom in, zooms out, and pictures. And I get all my pictures either from AI or from unsplash.com. I think it's .com, might be .org. You can Google it, Unsplash. Those are all just free stock photos you can use. So if you're trying to look for some kind of stock photo, you can look there. But let's say, you know, right here, oh, this is kind of a long segment. I really want to do a push-in just to keep people interested. You know, I'll put a little scale. I'll hit the stopwatch right there. I'll click on this and push it all the way to the beginning of this clip. Well, let's say I push this into right here, and I do that. Now we have a push-in just like that. Notice I'm not really staying center in this clip. I actually also will need to adjust my position. So I'm going to put a position keyframe at the beginning here. That looks pretty good. I'm going to go near the end and adjust my new positioning, and then I'll drag this all the way over. And then we get a position move and a scale move for it to look really nice. So, you know, I'll do things like that. If I have a really quick section like this and I want to constantly zoom in through this whole section, let's say even though it's cutting, I still want to do a zoom, I can select all of these, right-click, go down to nest, and then I'll say zoomy zoom, that's zombie. Zombie zoom, zom. There you go. Very aptly named. And then I have what's called a nested sequence. Now you'll notice up here, I actually have a whole nother sequence. If I double click, I will open just those that I put in there, and I can adjust them in like a separate, not file, but a separate layer here. If I go out to this one, it's replaced it with a singular file. And now I can do that same scale position trick right here. We'll just up this to 130, and we'll move my positioning up and push that out. And now if we watch,
works. Verse 19 says,
it's constantly pushing in. It's terrible, but again, you get the idea of what we're going for right there. So I'll do that through the whole video. I'll add my pictures from Unsplash. I'll zoom them. I'll put everything in the right spot. And then I will add captions. The way I do captions is super cool. If I go over here to text, if you don't have text, you can go up to your workspaces and go to captions and graphics. I'll just do that for now. Captions, graphics should pull up essential graphics and text. If it's still not there, if you go in window, you can find everything right there. You just click text. It's going to say no captions available. If I hit create transcription, I want to make sure I do a mix in English, and I hit transcribe, it'll think and it will, boom, make a transcription for me. And it'll underline anything it's not sure about. I could double click and edit that if I want. Then I go over to create captions, and it's going to create captions for everything. I want to go into preferences, and for what I do for shorts, I'm going to go single line, drop down my maximum length in characters to like 13, 14, 15. I hit create, and it will create captions. Well, now you'll see at the very bottom right there.
For those who believe in him. Verse 19
it has captions like that. Well, those are too small, not where I want them. So I'm going to click. It's going to add a whole new track for captions. I'm going to click on this caption. Over in Essential Graphics, it'll pull up all my styles. For text, I'm going to do Montserrat. You might have to download that online. If you don't have it, I'm going to do Montserrat bold, and this TT will put it in all caps. I can adjust my size. I'll make it maybe a little bigger there. And then on Align and Transform, maybe I'll hit the center zone. Sometimes I go the lower zone, and then the top align text. We'll just say I do that. I have a shadow there. I'm going to make this very shadowy because, shadows are dark and sketchy, and our world is dark and sketchy, and so it appeals to the dark psyche of man. Anyway, so that's good, but the problem is, it goes back to this normal size for all the rest of these, and that's annoying to change. Really easy. All I have to do is click this, go to track style, I can hit upload, and I can then push to all captions on track. If I hit OK, it will adjust. Now, the one thing it doesn't do is it does not capitalize them. So I have to go through and do that every time. And I've had weird issues with the Align and Transform where it doesn't quite put this in the right spot. But whatever. You can adjust those things. They're pretty minor. And then I'll go through and, for all men, for those who believe in him. Well, I don't really want to separate those, so I'll actually delete these. I'll drag this over and say, for those who believe in him, I think is what I said. And then I'll, make sure this connects there. And so I'll do that and basically edit these captions the whole way across as I want. You can color particular words. You come down to fill. 00C6FF is our GLM blue, or E85200 is GLM orange. You can come in there and kind of do whatever you want with that. But as you see, it'll, pop it up. Sometimes it just gets really annoying to do one word the entire time. It's really hard to pay attention. So depending on what I'm saying, sometimes I'll do one word, sometimes I'll do more. If it's ever relevant, like let's say you really want to do a zoom out on this for some reason. If I go to Effect Controls, it's not going to be there because it's a caption file. I have to go up to Graphics and Titles and hit, That was supposed to work right there. Yeah, there it is. Okay. Upgrade caption to graphic. If I click, it will pull this and make it a regular text file. And suddenly I have all the controls right here in this. It's just a regular old text thing that you can adjust right in here. So, if you need to do more things than just graphics or captions with that, you can. I do that very rarely, maybe 5 or 6 in a video. I'll do like a scale up, something like
realized.
Okay, that was really slow, but you get the point. And then the last thing there is to do is add music, which I have our GLM jingles that I use on my computer. So if I came up to Documents and GLM, and I could go to, it's in Creative Cloud, and then it's in Audio Stock, and then Jingles, and then it's full industrial world. Yep. That's it. Then I can drag this audio file down here. It's way too long right there. So I'll hit C. I'll trim it down. I hit V to switch back there, and I to my select tool, and then I delete it. And now when I listen, it's way too loud. So I'll click on this, and I'll unclick my animation for volume levels. I actually don't want that right now. And I'll just hit negative, 15 or something and make it a little bit more subtle.
For all men, for those who believe in it.
Now let's say this happens with this song that we use. Right here, if you listen, it gets really loud. And I actually don't want that for shorts. So if a short is ever longer than 32 seconds, what I have to do is I have to essentially edit this to make it sound good. Premiere Pro has this awesome tool called the Remix tool. If you go down to the Ripple Edit tool, it's at the bottom. All I have to do is select this and drag it out, and it will analyze that song and find good points to cut and loop, and it'll remix it. And so it'll actually auto remix and loop that entire file for me if I have more that I need to go through. So that's really cool. That's a really, really cool feature. And then, of course, I export, and that's that. So thank you guys for hold on. Listen to that. Thank you guys so much for watching this tutorial on doing shorts. If you have any questions, please shoot me a text. And thank you for watching Bradley's tutorials. Until next time, have a nice day, I guess. I need to really think of an outro.